Until Rasmus Anderson is actually traded, trade speculation is going to continue to swirl around this player. This is a player that is going to have a lot of value, and we're learning a lot of new information about this player. Before it was, well, hold on, he'll only go to Vegas. Rasmus Anderson did shoot that down, which leads to the fact that he could really go anywhere as long as that team is willing to pay him. And at the end of the day, if Rasmus Anderson is willing to go anywhere, it makes a lot of sense for the Calgary Flames. They can get a ton for him. It's interesting. We know that the Los Angeles Kings offered apparently a ton for him. I'm always so interested in finding out what that was, but we don't really know that for sure. We're going to talk about trade speculation and rumors between the Montreal Canadiens and the Calgary Flames today, guys. But welcome back to Pixel Plus Hockey. If you could make sure to hit that subscribe button, it would be so greatly appreciated. And thank you so much to those that are already supporting me as well. It is greatly appreciated. Now, obviously, when we talk about Rasmus Anderson potentially going to Montreal, as we're going to talk about in this video, we have to remember that this all's prefaced on him being okay with signing an extension. And because he shot down the rumors, as I just said, about and only wanting to go to Las Vegas Golden Knights, we can speculate that he very well could want to go to Montreal. And here's the thing, they could always use another right shot defenseman. It is true that they absolutely do have Noah Dobson, Alexander Carrier, but again, another right shot defenseman would solidify this defense core. They have Reinbacher, and but again, they have to move on from Matheson. It does seem that Montreal is going to move on with Matheson, and then exactly how could that work out? And here we have a very interesting quote from this article. Should the Habs make a move? For the Canadiens, the question of whether or not to pursue Anderson comes down to two critical factors: their commitment to Mike Matheson and their belief and development in David Reinbacher, close quote. So I want to talk about David Reinbacher first. He's a very questionable player to me. I like him, but his knees are kind of weak. I just don't know. It seems they're going to move on from Mike Matheson. Could that be a trade chip to get Rasmus Anderson over to the Montreal Canadiens? Possibly they would probably have to give up more than that. Depends though, right? Because if Mike Matheson is willing to sign in Calgary, that brings his value much higher. For the Calgary Flames perspective, the hearing that he is willing to, Rasmus Anderson that is, willing to go to other teams is great news, because it means that you can probably get more for him. And here we have a really interesting quote on what Montreal could actually offer Calgary to make this deal work. Quote, "The first scenario is moving Matheson as a part of the deal. If the Canadiens do not believe they will re-sign him, he becomes an attractive trade chip. Calgary could use a veteran defenseman with offensive ability, and Matheson fits the mold. A package built around Matheson and perhaps a second-round pick could be reasonable, provided Matheson is willing to sign in Calgary and the Flames prefer an established NHL piece in return. This type of deal would be more of a hockey trade where both sides swap needs rather than one side purely rebuilding," close quote. So the one thing that I like about this is Matheson and his offensive ability for the Calgary Flames. This is a defenseman that has a lot of offensive ability when he's going at his number one. I mean, he actually scored like 60 points for the Canadiens, and this might make a lot of sense for the Calgary Flames because, again, they really struggle offensively. But let's remember, guys, as I always tell you, that offense isn't only from your forwards. Your defensemen are really, really important. One defenseman that I think is really good at this is Aaron Ekblad. He's good enough defensively and good enough offensively to provide the Florida Panthers, enough offense getting the puck up to their forwards. Matheson, I'm not saying he's as good as Aaron Ekblad, but he is very good offensively, and this actually may make some sense. The left side of Calgary's defense, I would describe as quantity over quality. That's what I would say. And this is why I think this trade might make sense, because it would add a quality offensive piece on the left side of Calgary's defense. You know, though, the one thing is that's reality here is that this might create a logjam on Montreal's right side. That was the one thing that I was reading this article and I was a little bit worried about. In some ways, this trade makes sense in the ways that Matheson would help Calgary and their offensive ability, but on the other hand, from Montreal, it's like you're getting a right shot defenseman who, by the way, I really like. I like Rasmus Anderson quite a bit, but at the end of the day, it's kind of like, geez, they have Noah Dobson, who obviously they're really excited to have him. Then they have, Alexander Carrier. I actually like Carrier quite a bit. I think that's a really, really good move for them when they got him. Then you have Reinbacher. Reinbacher, again, to me, is just one of these players that I just don't know how healthy he is going to be in the National Hockey League. So can you imagine like 3 right shot D and, Dobson and then Anderson and Carrier, Lane Hudson on the left side. They move on from Matheson or something like that. That would be pretty darn good. At the end of the day, it is kind of risky to carry Rasmus Anderson into the season as a Calgary Flames fan because it could go downhill from there, right? I am an advocate of trading Rasmus Anderson before the season starts, right? Now, unfortunately, it does not look like that's going to happen. I don't think that's going to happen. I was hoping they would get it done because, you're having a pending UFA. Now, if Rasmus Anderson just has an unbelievable season and he just absolutely kills it and that gets them more value and Rasmus Anderson is willing to go anywhere, even let's say Montreal, who might inquire about him, perhaps, any team, LA or something like that, that's really going to work out for them. It just worries me because, maybe he just takes a bit of a step back as well. And another thing that I talked about is that this is a risk for them to distract the team. You have to understand, it's a distraction for the team. P.S. The media is going to be asking the team, oh, what about Rasmus Anderson? What about Rasmus Anderson? This is going to happen, and I've said this a bunch of times, that this is going to be a distraction for this hockey club, and that is another reason why I wanted Rasmus Anderson gone. We already know Michael Backlund already said the guy's gone, so do you really not think it's impossible that that could be a distraction? I definitely do. And there was an article that I was reading on the cons of keeping Rasmus Anderson, and this article was touching on exactly what I said. Quote, whether the players will admit it or not, Anderson starting the season with the Flames is bound to be a distraction for the team. Anderson name pop up in news headlines, and the media seemingly can't stop asking questions about him. Flames captain Michael Backlund even commented on the situation, stating that Anderson will very likely get traded, but it won't be a distraction for the rest of the team. I disagree. Close quote. That is what this writer here is 100% right, especially when you're bringing younger players into the organization in a rebuild. I don't like this distraction around the Calgary Flames. I do believe that they should just move on, in my opinion. Anyways, guys, I am going to leave this video here. If you could make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, I would greatly appreciate it, guys. And make sure to have a great day. Goodbye, guys.